Well, the Winnipeg Jets, we talked about it coming into this one, how close of a game it was going to be between the Jets and the Edmonton Oilers, who came into the night tops in the Western Conference. Well, after this game, it's the Winnipeg Jets atop the Western Conference and atop the Central Division as they pick up a 5-2 win over the Edmonton Oilers. Welcome to the JetsTV Live Postgame Show presented by Budweiser. I'm Mitchell Clinton. Kevin Sawyer will be along in just a little bit. But what a game, and let's not make any mistake here. Yes, the Jets had a 4-0 lead after 2 periods. We'll get to the highlights shortly, but Connor Hellebuyck also played a role in this one, making 32 saves on 34 shots and was spectacular when called upon. I'm sure we'll break it down with Kevin Sawyer shortly when he gets here. But until that time, let's get right into the highlights because it was quite a hockey game tonight at Canada Life Centre. Jets get the ideal start. Adam Lowry, I don't even think he was expecting this one to go in, but if you want to get the crowd into it early, that's exactly what this one does. As Lowry picks it off in the neutral zone, as you can see here, and then he comes back the other way. This is his second of the season. Kind of just squeaks through Koskinen's arm and leg there and just gets over the line. Second of the season, like I mentioned, for Adam Lowry. Then a little bit of a collision in the neutral zone, but it creates some space. And Nikolai Ehlers, well, he uses that space to his advantage. What can you say about that shot? Just an absolute rocket from number 27, his fourth of the season. Andrew Kopp and Josh Morrissey pick up assists on this one, but this step into the zone and just let it fly, pun intended, from the top of the circle is becoming a little bit of a patented move for Nikolai Ehlers. But if it works, it works. You got to keep going with it. Jets continue the momentum on the power play. It hadn't scored for 4 consecutive games, but they get one here. Leon Draisaitl was off the ice for a 4-minute double minor for high sticking, and the Jets take advantage, being able to get one here. Just a nice play with all the chaos along the wall. Josh Morrissey has all the time in the world, and Pierre-Luc Dubois goes to the back side there and picks up his 9th of the season. Just a perfect deflection past Mikko Koskinen. And the Jets weren't done. Final minute of the second period. A great shift from the fourth line leads to this. They had the sustained time in the offensive zone, kept the Oilers on the ice, and then the Jets were able to get a line change in, and Logan Stanley's shot from the point is tipped by Mark Scheifele, as we saw. Scheifele now has goals in back-to-back games after getting his first in overtime against the Los Angeles Kings. Scheifele able to get a stick on this one. Koskinen looking for the high stick, but no review was necessary. Into the third, things get a little bit interesting. A 5-on-3 for the Oilers, and Leon Draisaitl, boom, into the back of the net. Connor Hellebuyck almost getting there. The assist on that for Connor McDavid, that extends his point streak to 15 games. Leon Draisaitl gets his league-leading 16th of the season on this one. Hellebuyck just about gets there. You can see him hang his head because he almost got there. Then, same power play. Oilers are able to cash in again, although you can see right immediately the call on the ice is no goal. Oilers disagreeing. And you can see on the replay here, it's Puljujarvi that ends up in the crease. And then, of course, Draisaitl's got all the time in the world to make that play. After review, though, from the coach's challenge, it is a good goal, but it wouldn't matter as the Jets played some solid hockey the rest of the way. Connor Hellebuyck, like I mentioned, was solid between the pipes, and Kyle Connor's able to get the empty netter here. The assist going to Blake Wheeler. And for Kyle Connor, that extends his goal-scoring streak to 4 games, and it's his 12th of the season. And as time ticks off on the clock, I mean, just a fantastic performance from the Winnipeg Jets in this one as they pick up a 5-2 win. They move to 9-3-3 and finish the 7-game homestand, which will be a season long, with a 5-1-1 record. So some great work from the Winnipeg Jets in this one. Connor Hellebuyck, like I mentioned, 32 saves, was phenomenal in this game, especially when he was called upon. The Jets outshot the Oilers in the opening couple of periods, but obviously the Oilers were able to turn the ice a little bit in the third, outshooting the Jets 14-9. A lot of it had to do with that power play, especially the 5-on-3. Yes, they only had the 5-on-3 for 6 seconds before Draisaitl scored his first of 2 on the night. But nonetheless, Winnipeg ends up outshooting Edmonton by a final of 35-34. Another performance that stood out tonight was Andrew Kopp. He picked up 1 assist on the night. But there was one phenomenal play in this one where it was a shorthanded play. The Jets' penalty kill was up against the Oilers' league-leading power play. Now, the power play finishes 2 for 4. They both come on that third period 5-on-3 advantage. But in the first couple of periods, the Jets' penalty kill was sensational, really limiting the opportunities that league-leading power play had. And in one situation, there was a turnover, and Andrew Kopp took off the other way, and who was chasing him? Well, that's number 97, Connor McDavid. And just through a great combination of what I would say speed and body position work from Andrew Kopp, he was able to keep Connor McDavid behind him. Now, he doesn't cash in on that one, on that particular play, but the ovation from the crowd after that was something, and the Winnipeg Jets certainly fed off that one. So just a fantastic play. As Andrew Kopp, we've been talking about it all season. He's a guy that just continues to find another level in his game, and he proved it once again tonight. A valuable member of the penalty kill. He had 327 on the PK. Now, he had a penalty in the third period. He was one of two that created that 5-on-3, so he didn't lead the team necessarily or the forwards in shorthanded ice time. That goes to Adam Lowry at 4:18. The faceoffs tonight finish in favor of the Edmonton Oilers, but early in the game, especially throughout the first couple of periods, it was the Winnipeg Jets holding the edge in that category. And then as the Oilers were able to continue generating some opportunities, they seem to just carry that momentum into the face-off circle. Both teams finished with 8 penalty minutes. The Jets have 25 hits to Edmonton's 14, 15 block shots as well for the Winnipeg Jets. Now, we talked a little bit earlier, especially on the pregame show, about the line shuffle that went on with the Winnipeg Jets leading into this one. That started in the third period against the Los Angeles Kings. It continued into this one, and if you're Paul Maurice, I think you got to be really happy with what you saw. Number one, you get a goal from your third line, which has Harkins and Lowry and Svechnikov, so that's a big bonus. They played well throughout the game. The fourth line is a huge contributor to your fourth goal, and then your top two lines continue to get it done, because for about half the game, the Oilers had Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl separated, but then once it got to about 3-0, which is about halfway through the game, all of a sudden head coach Dave Tippett made a little bit of a switch and put them together. So it'll be interesting to hear what Paul Maurice has to say about that. But because during the time that McDavid and Draisaitl were split, the Jets were able to run two lines against them. You had the Scheifele line that had the Draisaitl assignment, and then you had Wheeler's line with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Kyle Connor that had the Connor McDavid assignment. So for the most part, throughout 40 minutes, they were both held off the score sheet, and if not for the 5-on-3 power play, it was tough for the Edmonton Oilers to generate a whole lot of offense in this one. Now, we said on the pregame show as well, the Oilers, like the Jets, are a team that continue to get better throughout the night. Both teams, their lowest output in terms of goals happens in the first period. Jets able to get on the board, take the 1-0 lead. But Edmonton was tied for the league lead in third period goals. So even at 4-0, I don't know if it was just me, the Jets were playing fantastic. But there's still that little thought that, the best from the Edmonton Oilers is still to come. And, of course, they did provide that surge in the third period. But the Winnipeg Jets, especially, yes, it got to 4-2, and they could have easily kind of sat on their heels a little bit. But they didn't. They were able to rally and be able to pick up the victory. Let's go next door to Matt Frost Media Center.
Buying into our end, and it's translating. We got the offensive power to do a lot with a little, and we're controlling our end right now.
When you got a team like Edmonton coming in on top of the Pacific, I know it's just game 15 of a long season, but is there maybe an extra special motivation when you're facing a team like that?
Anytime a team comes in that's winning a lot of games, it's on. It's not going to be a fun night. It's going to be a grinder, and I think we all bought into that tonight.
The save that you made, I think there was 5:05 left off Puljujarvi at that point. It's a 2-goal game, and just maybe describe what you saw on that play, because that seemed like a pretty big save given the moment.
They try that play quite a bit where they go around the net and put it back short side, so I was aware, kept my eyes on it, and then he got in tight, and all I had to do was smother his area. He kind of leaned into it, and it was a quick read for me.
Was your opinion of the disallowed goal that was allowed to count after the review?
His initial read was right. Maybe if I had a chance to move, or if Puljujarvi, I think he was the one that knocked into me, he definitely got pushed a little bit, but he sold it and then he stayed. That's my problem, is he didn't try to get out. Like, the puck hit me in the middle of the pad and still goes in. That means I have no chance. For that reason, I think it should be overturned. I think he had it right.
What does it mean in goaltending speak to smother his area, like as on that scoring chance that you're talking about?
So it's more of a read type thing. So when I see which side he's going to, there's only so many holes that he can hit on me. So I smother, every hole that he can hit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's a read on the opportunity specifically from where his stick is and where that puck is and what his angles are, kind of deal?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
How would you describe what you've seen from Pierre-Luc Dubois this year in terms of his all-around game?
I think he's a horse. He's strong on the puck. He's strong on his feet, and he works both ends of the ice. Like I said, I mean, I think the whole team's been playing the exact same game. We have guys with different talents, and they're showing them, and we're all buying into our end, and it's really showing.
Kind of that, obviously the Logan Stanley boarding call there, leads to the 5-on-3, and they get the 2 quick goals. I don't know how much of a view you had of the call. I mean, did you think that should have been a penalty, and how did you think your team maybe handled those 2 quick goals and kind of coming out of that?
It was a bit of a wake-up call. I didn't get a great look at it. I know the goal, he fanned on it, and it still goes in, which sucks, but I feel like it's the way I get beat these days. And yeah, it was a great wake-up call, and we answered right after that.
Connor, save for that third period power play for Edmonton. Was this one of the most complete games that you would think that the Jets played today?
Oh, really giving me some thinkers. Yeah, I think we really controlled all 3 ends, and we didn't search for more. I think the third we let off the gas just a little bit, or they pushed hard because they're a good team, one of the two. But I thought as a team and as a whole, we got back into our details, and we didn't let them have anything that they shouldn't get.
Just the homestand as a whole here, you guys win 5 out of the 7 and get a point in another one. So you feel like you accomplished, what you had maybe hoped to do here with this long homestand?
We hope to win every single game. So moving forward, that's our mindset. 1 game at a time and win every single one.
Thanks, Connor.
Connor Hellebuck laying it down right there.
It's not a big deal. Just win them all. And let's
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
crank the music up.
Yeah, Kevin Sawyer of TSN joins me now, and we'll get right into what you wanted to really discuss tonight, what you felt the Winnipeg Jets did well, and that was defending at their own blue line.
Yeah, so what matters at the end of the game is who scores more goals. But what mattered to me at the beginning of the game is how you're going to kind of set yourself up to play with the puck more than the Edmonton Oilers. I think that was what the Jets wanted to take care of in the first period. I thought they were excellent at that, defending their own blue line. Look at how all 5 guys are on the correct side of the puck. So then they get the kill and they get the turnover at their own defensive blue line. Now that takes seam plays away. It takes speed out of the hands of the Oilers. Look again, you got 4 guys defending, no lane to the middle, no seam to make, and now the McDavids and the Draisaitl's starting to look a little bit ordinary. That back pressure again. It all happened between the blue lines. That neutral zone is so crucial. It's such an important part of the game, particularly when you play other teams that are dominant off the rush. And so now you got guys like Connor McDavid perhaps maybe second guessing here, and rather than having speed through the neutral zone, he kicks it back here a little bit. This is, again, 5 guys squeezing time and space out of the hands of the Edmonton Oilers. So it was a 1-goal first period, but what stood out for me wasn't the fact they were winning the game by 1, it was the fact that they took the speed out of the game, a lot of it out of the game, and then of course 3 goals in the second, and it was a progression. But they took care of what mattered most, and that was defending their own blue line and trying to make 2 very exceptional players look as ordinary as possible.
Well, and Adam Lowry's first goal, definitely an example of that as he closed off at the blue line. Let's go next door.
Little nasty at times, physical, and some offense, kind of all the things that you probably like to bring?
I think, every game's different. Every game you can bring different things. The player I want to be, is the guy that can play this kind of game, could play a 1-0 kind of game, could play a 7-6 kind of game. I want to become the guy that can do everything out there. And tonight, we needed some good defense, some physical play, some good sticks, some one-on-one, some offense. We needed a lot out there tonight, and we did a good job of that.
Process like when Paul tells you were going head-to-head with McDavid going into the game?
Yeah, well, I went against him when I was in Columbus a lot. We played twice a year, but I went against him before, and last year in the playoffs I didn't really play against him, but everybody knows who he is. There's no hiding what he wants to do out there. There's no hiding his tendencies. So it's going to be a big challenge, but the hard part is it's 60 minutes. He never stops skating out there. He's always moving. You always have to have your head up for him, even in the offensive zone. So it's a good challenge, but when you get a big win like that, it feels even better.
What do you think your team's overall defensive play, especially at 5-on-5 tonight?
Yeah, huge. Like I said, teams like this, you could go to sleep for a shift or two, and it could be a goal against. You know, you can't doze off at any point. You can't cheat for offense. You know, at times you're gonna have to stay behind, even if you want to go in front for a little more offense. And you know, they're gonna have shifts where they have the puck for a minute in your zone, and you know, the only opportunity you're gonna get is off a mistake, and you have to take advantage of it off the rush. So we did a really good job. You know, from the defensemen to the forwards to defending in a unit of 5. Bucky was amazing tonight. And I thought we did really good things defensively.
What you thought of the call on Logan there that put you guys down 2 men, and then how you thought your team kind of responded to giving up the 2 quick goals that suddenly got the Oilers back in the game. I don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good power play. I thought we did a good job. Obviously, they get the 2 goals there, but I thought we did a good job tonight. And then, you know, it's easy to fall in the trap of just wanting to defend. You know, 2 quick goals like that. You know, it's now a 2-goal game instead of a 4-goal game, but we kept going with it. We had a good couple shifts after that, and then we stabilized everything. And when you have Bucky in net, you know, it gives a lot of confidence too.
Connor Hellebuck was talking just about the degree to which everybody bought in. You're talking about a 5-man defensive game. At what point in a night do you kind of know everybody's going and committed like that? Yeah,
hopefully early on. You know, to defend in the NHL, it's against unbelievable players, against some of the best players in the league, in the world. It's hard one-on-one. You know, it takes a committee. It takes a group of 5. When you have a group of 5 defending, it's so hard to, you know, to create offense from there. So, you know, it takes everybody to commit to it. You know, it takes everybody to, you know, to be okay with having shifts where you're probably not going to have anything offensively. You're probably just going to, you know, play in the D zone, chip the puck, and go change. But, you know, it's by doing it again and again and again that you create offense, you create frustration, and then you get an opportunity, and it's in the back of their net. So, you know, it's to see five guys out there every shift defending and playing together. It's you know, it's really promising.
And then to mention going the other way and getting chances, it seemed like you guys did get to the middle of the ice. You got to dangerous spots against Edmonton. So how did you go from one to the other?
Yeah, I mean, they're a very good team. They're good offensively. Like I said, you might have a shift where you don't touch the puck the first 30 seconds, and then, you know, they get, I don't know, they make a little mistake, or one guy's a bit too low, and then, you know, you have a 3-on-2 or you have a little 2-on-1, but you have to play it so fast because they come back. So I thought we did a good job of tonight of being, you know, good defensively and going on the counterattack. And you know, we have another big game against them Thursday, I think. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but yeah, soon.
Just one on your goal. Josh makes sort of the great play to you. I know that's something you guys work on a lot in practice. Maybe you don't always get a chance to execute it in a game. So what's that like? What's that feeling like when a play like that kind of comes together?
Yeah, we call him Jame Ovechkin because he's got a lethal one-timer. So yeah, he's got a good shot. So you know, I'm sure when teams are doing video and they see his shot there, his one-timer from the top circle, you got to respect it. So every now and then he gets a pass, and he made a really nice play. Schmidt made a nice play. You know, Wheels and Scheif to get the entry going. So yeah, it was a really nice pass by him, and, you know, by the whole power play unit, I'd say.
Also wanted to ask, was there a moment thinking that you might give somebody a souvenir of Darnell Nurse's stick there after that one tussle?
Yeah, I was looking for someone to give it to. I found a ref, so that was good. Thank you.
So polite of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Wanted to get Pierre-Luc Dubois touched on it a little bit there. It gets to 4-2. There's plenty of time left in the hockey game, and you know you're playing against a team that can generate. You're doing good things, but still, it could be easy, like he said, to sit back and defend. What did you feel the Jets did well, especially in those precarious, I guess you could say, couple of minutes after where you could sit back?
Yeah, so like what I talked about in the first period, where they kind of set themselves up defensively, took some speed away, and then added to their offensive game. Well, after that second goal from Draisaitl on the power play, that was that every game has the most challenging moment or segment mentally, and that was certainly it, because now you've got a 4-goal lead, you've built towards that 4-goal lead, and it evaporates into half very quickly. So I thought that the mental part was the biggest challenge, and just kind of grinding grinding through and not trying to recover one or two of those goals quickly. It was just reverting back to what worked for them in the first period, get the game on the wall, try to slow things down, and then try to ramp back up to what was working and playing with the puck more. Now, the first half of the game, the Jets were dominating as far as puck possession. In the second half of the game, it was much more balanced, and we saw some great 200-foot rushes both ways, didn't we? So, but I like the way the Jets kept their composure and didn't stray too far away from what worked for them early in the game after they gave up a couple quick goals.
We talked on the pregame show just about the contributions that the Jets have been getting from the back end, tied for 8th in terms of percentage of the points that they've generated coming from the back end. You look tonight, Nate Schmidt, 2 points. Oh, sorry, that's a +2. Let's move over. Nate Schmidt, Logan Stanley, Dylan DeMello each get an assist. Josh Morrissey gets 2 assists. 5 combined points from the back end. They were a huge part of a lot of the goals Josh Morrissey's played to Pierre-Luc Dubois. One of them, Logan Stanley, just getting a puck to the net. A lot of great play from the Winnipeg Jets blue line at the offensive side of the ice as well.
Well, you know what? Like he talked about, I love the J-Mo Ovechkin, by the way.
That's
awesome.
hilarious.
But his shot is now becoming recognized from Josh Morrissey around the league, where they have to respect the shot first, and then he's wise enough, intelligent enough to make a little backdoor play. But you're right, the defense, it's the mark of a good team. Lines 1 through 4, all defense. Their ice time is fairly well feathered out, and it has been all 20 guys kind of pulling on the rope.
Let's get next door to the Matt Frost Media Center.
Really strong in their game. But Pierre-Luc was, as he's been.
Well, we have tons of numbers we can go to for this, but is there any way to quantify how much more comfortable Pierre-Luc is this season versus last?
No, and let's move it though. You're right with the word comfortable, but there are a lot of just physical things that he was dealing with last year that he didn't. You know, you get quarantined like that on a new team, and then he came out and he had an oblique injury, is what it was, I believe, and that even when he came back slowed him down. And he still played okay, you know, like but then he takes the summer and, I think maybe, so there's the physical piece. The other thing is don't forget how young he is. Right? There's so much growth for these guys, even in their off seasons, right? He worked very hard this summer, so he came back and you could see it in the first practice. He's just faster and stronger. And that wasn't because he didn't work hard in the past. It's just he went from 22 to 23, and that'll just keep going, right? He's going to hit his peak in another 3 or 4 years, and he's just going to keep growing and getting stronger and faster. And but confidence, then all those other things are true, right? He's right from day one found a great connection with Kyle Connor, and that's allowed him to do some things that he probably couldn't do last year.
Not trying to get you in any trouble here, Paul, but can you give us your take on the Logan Stanley boarding call? That obviously was a big moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the call, but that won't be the last time I say that this year, and that's part of all of these things. It's an opportunity then, such a lethal power play, to go from 4-0 to 4-2 and then have the opportunity to right it. So the first piece there is Connor made a couple of saves right in that after. And then I liked our game. So the game may have looked slightly different after, but part of that is they're going to open their game up as well, right? They're stretching now outside into the red. So it's harder to keep the containment. It's harder to forecheck. It becomes a bigger challenge. But I liked how we handled it after that. I mean, I think if you looked at the 5-on-5 chances in that third period, you got Connor in kind of alone, and you've got Doobie in alone. They had some chances, but we would have had some really good ones as well.
So is that a teachable moment for a young player like Logan, where you say, like, maybe that's a hit you just don't make because you're almost inviting a call in a situation like that?
I wouldn't want him thinking about that ever again, right? So I would want him, I liked his feet on that play. He closed the gap, and I won't bring it up tomorrow and won't say a word to him.
What do you think your exits? Obviously very clean around. Is that one of the keys? Did you think?
Yeah, I thought our exits were good. I thought as the game wore on, they started to pinch a little heavier on a wing, so a couple didn't go for us, and then we handled a bunch of them really well after that. So I was pleased with that part.
A guy like Dylan DeMello may never, Brendan Dillon may never make the highlight reel or a whole lot, but there's that one shift where he throws 2 big hits. Yep. He makes a great kick save, it looked like. Yep. But is that an example where a guy like that, what he can bring? The value of
a big chunk of your team will not be in the statistics, goals and assists, but his value in a game like tonight, that those 4 guys played exceptionally well against an exceptionally offensive team, and they're all slightly different. He brings a physical piece to that, and it's changed our back end in the way it looks. You know, it matters that all the D aren't the same. You don't want everybody's game to be based on the fact of how well they move the puck tonight, because it's going to come to your corners and it's going to come to the walls and it's going to come net front, and then you need men to do that.
Paul, how would you use a good line where he said we have the offense to do a lot with a little? Obviously, a lot of that is going to be depth. When you're playing that team and you drive McDavid and Draisaitl onto the second line, is there a victory in that based on the depth that you have outside one line?
I don't know that I can say that, because I don't know that they don't become more dangerous. I still haven't got that figured out in the game. Whether they're split apart, they're harder to handle than together. So when they go together, their possession game just changes, right? Every shot is a chance. Anytime that you can get the other team to change something, that's usually a good thing for your team, right? But adjustments get made all the time, and a lot of times those adjustments work, right? They're good players, and they can put them together, and some night they're just going to rip the cover off it doing that. So I still haven't figured out. I just don't like either of them on the ice. I figured that one out. That didn't take a lot of...
That said, when those two were split up, how did you like the way Scheifele's line handled Draisaitl's line?
I liked their game, and I thought that Nicky was more dynamic in his skating, and not just with the puck, without the puck. He was more engaged in it, and having a center iceman that can skate with Nicky really helps Nicky, right? It's different when and Andrew's going to make plays defensively and offensively. I like the structure of it. It also allows us 2 really good face-off men on either side of the ice, so I'm hopeful they can keep going. Mark scores, Nick scores. You know, if they don't have to do the heavy lifting sometimes, if Dubois' line can handle it or Lowry's line can handle it, that'll be good for them.
What was your take on the disallowed then allowed goal?
I'm sorry?
The disallowed then allowed goal, what was your take on?
Yeah, I had no problems with it. I'm not spending any capital complaining about anything tonight. Good guys won.
Yes, they did, Paul. The one thing that he did say in his press conference is, if you look at the chances for and against 5-on-5 in the third period, they were pretty close. So let's check natural stat trick. Scoring chances for the Winnipeg Jets, 6. Edmonton Oilers, 5. High danger chances, 2-2. And there you go. Head coach Paul Maurice all over it. The Winnipeg Jets were all over Edmonton too, but there is a big rematch coming up in Edmonton in just a couple of days. What's kind of the message going forward? I mean, you'd love to just be able to say, okay, do that again, but it's not that easy. Just the message going forward in the rematch against Edmonton coming up.
It's a reset about just kind of, rather than dwelling on the result. I think the mark of a veteran team, a mature team, or a player for that matter is okay, well, we got the result we wanted, but why? What did we do? What did we like? So, you know, it's going to be more difficult. Now you're going to have a very, very motivated team. I thought Edmonton came in very motivated after the taste that was left in their mouth, of course, with the sweep in playoffs. But they'll look at some tape, and they've got a heck of a coach in Dave Tippett as well, so it'll be different. They won't get last change in Edmonton, so the matchup favor might be in Dave Tippett's hand. Well, it will be. He'll have last change, so that's something that will be different than tonight. But focus on why, and what did you like. I thought a lot of the habits in that first period that we already covered, to me, they'll look to check those boxes again and build another game systemically from away from the puck to having the puck, and they were excellent tonight in that.
Jets win 5-2 and now move their record to 9-3-3. They're tops in the Central and 1 point back of the Edmonton Oilers in the entire Western Conference. Jets head on the road for 2, but when they do return, we will be back with the JetsTV Live pregame show. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you then. Until then, we'll talk to you later.